few years ago, a television show captured America's imagination like never before. With a powerful style of storytelling combining outrageous plot lines, dramatic plot twists, and riveting over-the-top characters, Americans became addicted to it, with millions actually thinking it was real. Obviously, it's not. There's no way something this insane could ever actually be real. It's a fictional TV show called American Emperor. Like Succession, Game of Thrones, and Breaking Bad, all rolled into one. Each week, this podcast goes behind the scenes to break down each episode, talking to insiders and fans to bring you everything you need to know. This is Talking Trump, the American Emperor Aftershow. This week, disaster at the debate. The Trump character has a meltdown, the likes of which we haven't seen since, well, the last time there was a debate.
I really don't know what he said at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows what he said either.
A stunning reversal of an earlier episode where the incoherentee becomes the incoherenter.
We had no problems when Trump was president. Where is our president? They threw him out of a campaign like a dog. But we have a president,
Mr. President,
that doesn't know he's alive.
See? Not so easy when your opponent isn't a corpse. In a mere 105 minutes, the Trump character questioned the racial identity of his opponent, suggested she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens in jail, and claimed Haitian immigrants are eating cats and dogs in Ohio. Then was amazed people reacted negatively. What, did he think he was at one of his rallies?
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
In all fairness, his debate prep person was a hologram of Tom Sizemore from 2004. Plus, the Kamala Harris character has a coming out party. She did so much baiting, I thought I was watching an episode of Wicked Tuna. Harris got Trump cornered on everything from foreign policy to abortion, which now the Trump character says should be left up to the states, whereas his previous position, I believe, was they come in handy. And producers and writers say sorry to this man and Frankenstein themselves an old favorite, Dick Cheney, making an appearance, setting up the ultimate heel-to-face turn, getting him to endorse the Harris character. Will he actually vote for her, or have a change of heart, or both? This is the first time Cheney's gotten behind a woman of color since 1989, when he thought a tree was about to fall and stood behind her for protection. And if you thought this show could have hit a bigger cameo than Oprah at the DNC, think again. At the very end of the episode, Taylor Swift comes out for your girl. How will we make any sense of this?
I have concepts of a plan.
It's the debate where the Trump character took the bait. A dizzying episode with storylines introduced and resolved at a frantic pace. This is Talking Trump, the American Emperor Aftershow.
They take in the geese. You know where the geese are? In the park, in the lake. And even walking off with their pets.
Well, so much to get to. I'm Christopher Lansing. I'm joined by author, filmmaker, and pop culture critic, Mr. Tom Robb. Welcome.
Very good to be here. Thank you so much. And what an exciting period to be here for.
Absolutely. Tom, there's so much to get to, but I did want to tell you this quick story. I was at my racquetball club the other day, and on the court next to me, this guy comes up to me. He says, "Hey, I really love your podcast and how you say," and he uses air quotes, "everything we see with Trump is just a TV show. Like, I really like how you say that." And I was like, yeah, dude, we're not just saying it. That's the way it is. I mean, you were telling me the other day that someone came up to you with something similar when you were at the Arboretum, just spending some free time.
Yes, somebody came up to me and said, "I'm literally going into the men's room." And I said, "That's not strange. Literally, you are. You're not figuratively going in." And that, what ensued, led to a drink and then dinner and then a friendship. But people misuse language and they don't understand that this is a TV show.
Yeah, it's crazy. Well, that being said, let's get into it. Another phenomenal episode. Now, this episode was all about the debate. There was so much build up to it, and what a tremendous episode. And we have to start with the Trump character played by Sir Lawrence Davies and his acting. I mean, outstanding. What do you think about his acting in this episode?
I think it might be his tour de force.
We all know that the Trump character studied with the greatest acting coaches of his era, but what people don't understand is that Davies studied with them simultaneously.
Oh, Lee Strasberg, Maria Uspenskaya, Uda Lenska, Uda Hagen, Maximilian Schell. You know, these are one of the great realistic performances in the history of acting. People wondered if during the debate he would be able to show credibly, literally, things had gotten under his skin, and indeed he did it. Rivulets and bumps and permutations and striations. The skin was gotten under big time.
This is a tough assignment that he had, okay? He had to be angry. He had to be confused. He had to lie. You know, it's very hard to pivot from each one of those things to the other. When you think of his great acting, what other episodes pop into your mind in the series run?
I put this up there with Courtroom, with some of the great ones running down the street away from armed policemen, the fist fight with Leona Helmsley, the fight with his father. I mean, all of the great episodes, I think he met his own match.
Let's talk about the differences between the two debate episodes that we've had within a run of about 6 or 7 weeks here. In the first debate, you had the Biden entity, you know, basically a corpse. With the Trump character, he had a great night. Okay, he was lulled into what turns out to be a sense of security that's false. He actually had the moderators in that first debate on set to help him. Remember that very funny Jake Tapper character said he would not fact check him.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6th. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol. What do you say to voters who worry that you'll do it again?
I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, she said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden.
Was that debacle for the Biden entity a setup for this?
I think that's a very good point.
It was almost like a fantasy sequence for how the Trump character wanted a debate to go. Everything was going his way. The second debate, the rug's pulled out from under him. Not only is he not going up against a corpse, he's up against a vibrant woman who happens to be black.
3 terrifying factors right there.
Yeah.
Also, he looked to his left. Is Tepper going to hold this bag of hay while he punches him? No, he's not. Not a woman, not an attractive woman in an expensive pantsuit. Extra help was not forthcoming. I mean, she let him have it.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty amazing, the starkness of that attack. And also, just got to add in here, the moderator characters in this episode, they actually do fact check him when he utters something insane.
Why do you believe it's appropriate to weigh in on the racial identity of your opponent?
There is no state in this country where it is legal to kill a baby after it's born.
You bring up Springfield, Ohio, as there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Crime in this country is through the roof.
President Trump, as you know, the FBI says overall violent crime is actually coming down in this country.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty amazing, culminating in this amazing sequence where the Trump character, by the way, brilliantly and flawlessly acting here, claims that Haitians are eating pets in an Ohio town. Just the insanity here. I don't know if it was an improv or if it was the actual brilliant writing. Haitians in a random Ohio town are eating pets, and he delivers it beautifully. Take a look.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
I mean, did they just win the Emmy there?
Yeah, that's like something from As You Like It or Twelfth Night. Beautifully delivered. And then the absurdity of it. I mean, if it had been Port-au-Prince or something, we would have been like, well, maybe. But Ohio town
Davies' performance was absolutely phenomenal. And I know that you saw a secret screening of the episode before it was cut. Did he go too far as an actor? I understand there were a lot of things left on the cutting room floor.
Oh, his liberal use of the N-word shocked even me. And then his use of the Indian accent, chiding the moderators. Oh, you're fact-checking me. Why don't you fact-check her? You can't do that anymore, not in this day and age.
And there's only a few people who could pull it off. Yeah, there's only one who could pull that off. It's Davies. I mean, now that I'm thinking, is Judd Hirsch retired? Let's go back real quick, because I know you know something about this. I understand that the writers gave Davies a number of different choices with what to go there, and he was not happy with any of them until like almost the last minute. He ultimately landed on Haitians eating pets, or Haitians eating cats and dogs. They gave him at first Puerto Ricans burning piñatas. He did not go for it. Then they gave him white trash drinking from spittoons. Again, he didn't bite. Then he actually went Eskimos blowing moose, like blowing, like oral sex. And as you know, the plural of moose is moose. So that would imply multiple moose. He didn't go for any of them. What did you hear they gave him before settling on the Haitian line?
Oh, my God. They had a pitch list of 100 long. Lions raping anacondas. It went on and on and on and on. In every ethnicity, in every breed of animal, in every clime on earth. There were Tibetans, there were infants, there were people from the McMartin case, there were munchkins, there were people from film noir, there were construction workers, there was every single member of the Village People represented.
I was going to say there were construction workers, there were policemen, and there were grown men in an urban setting dressed as cowboys. Yes.
He didn't want to do anything except the N-word and anti-Indian and woman stuff. Yeah. And they threw up their hands.
Now, listen, you are familiar with the television setting. You are a former television and film writer yourself. You know that in those types of scenarios, the writers are pulling an all-nighter. They're literally throwing everything they can against the wall. I understand that the writer who came up with the Haitian eats cats thing, when they finally accepted that, they were so happy that all the other writers chipped in and bought him a brand new SUV.
Yeah. And apparently it was a Catamount, which was lost on almost everybody except myself. The joy when you finally land a pitch with a very difficult quarry like Sir Davies is, it's an unbelievable feeling, even if what you're stuck with is lose-lose anyway.
Now, Hollywood is a very talkative town, as you know, and I was able to get out there after this episode aired and went to a couple of the bars that these writers hang out in. And just to emphasize how difficult it was to pitch this idea and get it approved, this Haitian line, finally, after all the work they put into, the veteran writers out there, they said it was by far the hardest assignment they had. The only thing that came close when you were writing for the Sebastian character for Late Late Show with Craig Kilborn, the asexual icon. Remember that?
Oh, who can forget? Sandwiched between Yambo and 5 Questions. But
very hard to get stuff on that show because you never knew the criteria or the calculus.
Or the mindset, exactly. This is something that they landed, they got, they won, and we'll see where it takes them.
Well, let's move on a little bit, because not only was that line just the high point, but also Davies was outstanding. The Trump character was, again, exhibiting this incredible nimbleness. He did some of his greatest hits during the episode. He did the post-birth abortion bit.
They have abortion in the 9th month. Abortion in the 9th month is absolutely fine. He also says execution after birth. It's execution, no longer abortion, because the baby is born, is okay. And that's not okay with me.
Where he insists that women go through the entire 9-month gestation period of giving birth, actually give birth, and then decide, oh, you know what? All this trouble is not worth it, and kill the child once it's literally born. That is something that he has insisted that happens. and he gave us a version of that. He gave us a version of the election denial thing that he's one of his greatest hits.
Mr. President, for 3.5 years after you lost the 2020 election, you repeatedly falsely claimed that you won, many times saying you won in a landslide. In the past couple of weeks leading up to this debate, you have said, quote, you lost by a whisker, that you, quote, didn't quite make it, that you came up a little bit short. Are you now acknowledging that you lost in 2020?
No, I don't acknowledge that at all.
But
I
you
said
did
that
say
sarcastically,
that.
you know that. It was said, oh, we lost by a whisker. That was said sarcastically.
I didn't detect the sarcasm.
Of course, he really disrespected the Harris character racial identity.
Oh, yeah, calling her from Singapore, calling her from Senegal, calling her from the Canary Islands, calling her from the Maldives.
And then, of course, he added this new little flavor where he talked about working on concepts. Here, listen to this.
And what we will do is we're looking at different plans.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan. I'm not president right now.
You think? Why do you think they're showcasing these old arguments? Do you think it means that they're going to be saying goodbye to them, goodbye to these old arguments? Here comes some new crazy shit?
I think it gives them latitude to go anywhere they want.
Two quick things on the Harris performance. She was able to get under his skin. But do you give that to the actress who was playing Harris, Regina Jennings, or do you put it on Davies himself? Was he responsible for allowing that vulnerability to come through?
I think she went toe-to-toe with him.
Do you think they're building up to a physical confrontation?
I think it's possible. They've done everything else. I think it's why she's wearing the suits, for flexibility.
Now we have to touch on this. I guess if you have unlimited resources, you could do stuff like this. They famously hired Gary the Hitman Orleans, the famous and very reclusive WWE writer. There was speculation as to why they did it, and then it became clear, and we saw the Liz Cheney character, and then followed by the Dick Cheney character endorse the Harris character. So they brought in this guy from the WWE to stage the greatest heel turn in the history of the world. Talk about what kind of a challenge that was to this guy Orleans. I mean, do you think that Dick Cheney makes this heel turn? Because, can you imagine a world where he's beloved?
It's like suddenly having Martin Bormann show up as one of the seven dwarves and, oh my God, you love him. He's wonderful. I think it's a way of toying with our emotions and toying with our alliances.
Now we have to touch on this amazing coup by the producers and the writers who really came through with this amazing cameo from Taylor Swift. The stunt casting has been just so on point. These guys are the talk of the industry. They had Oprah at the DNC, and now they get Taylor Swift to even make a cat lady reference, which is unreal when you get a celebrity that size to buy in on one character, in this case, J.D. Vance's catchphrase. What do you know about the work that went into that?
I think it was simply writing a check, finding somebody who was simpatico on a political level and giving them $1 billion.
You think it was $1 billion they paid? I mean, because that's believable.
So. Yeah. Their ask is quite large now.
Of course.
And I think it's going to deliver.
I thought it was nice the way that the show went out to commercial break with the Trump character heading into the spin room himself. What did you make of that?
I thought that was meant to evince a kind of desperation.
All right. Well, when we come back, we're going to answer your questions. That's right. Our email section, aka Talking Trump Talk Back segment when we return. This is Talking Trump, the American Emperor Aftershow. Hello, Talking Trump, the American Emperor Aftershow listeners. Thanks so much for listening and subscribing. We'll get right back with more show in just a minute, but before we do, just wanted to remind some of you that right here on the show at this very moment is an excellent place for a sponsor to run an ad. Just reach out to us on Instagram at American Emperor Aftershow or by email at AmericanEmperorPod@gmail.com and get your message or product out and associated with this amazing podcast. Hopefully there'll be some space left for you, BetterHelp or ZipRecruiter, because the high-powered sponsors are already claiming their territory. Coming this November to Roku, Pluto TV, Tubi, and a few other channels you didn't think you had and have no idea how to access, it's the 4th annual Passive Income Rando Scam Ads That Appear in Your Social Media Feed Awards with the They Definitely Missed Out guy.
Cheetos offered us $1 million for our design.
They definitely missed out because they're only making $1,100 a month. They definitely missed out because they're only making $33,000 a month.
And the I taught my kids how to start a vending machine business guy.
I taught my kids how to start a vending machine business.
Plus, the I did 5 side hustles in 1 year guy.
I tried 5 side hustles in 1 year. Here's how I'd rate them.
With special appearances by Print on Demand Girl and a performance by Foo Fighters. It's the biggest night in the rando passive-aggressive scam ad industry. And you'll have a front row seat for all the winners and the losers. Who will take home the award for best video with a guy with a weird Australian accent?
I want to show you how to make as much as $10,000 a month. This is one of the best free side hustles that you can start in 2022.
Who will win for best use of a giant yellow finger?
Well, let me show you an example with this kids vacuum cleaner.
Find out this November on the passive income rando scam ads that appear in your IG social media feed awards. Only on Roku, Pluto TV, Tubi, and a few other channels you didn't think you had and have no idea how to access. Welcome back to Talking Trump, the American Emperor Aftershow. I'm with author, director, and pop culture critic Tom Robb. Time now for a segment where we answer questions from you, the audience. This is Talking Trump, Talk Back. By the way, if you want to send us a question, hit us up on Instagram at American Emperor Aftershow. Okay, our first question comes from Rebecca Conroy in Madison, Wisconsin, and she says, who do you recommend we follow as some under-the-radar characters?
Let's see. There's Mike Johnson's son. Barron Trump, I think, is always going to emerge. The fashion plate stepdaughter of Kamala, I'm looking for big things from. She's very stylish and very outspoken. Not the son. And Doug Emhoff, I don't think we're going to see much from. Watch that cute fashion plate stepdaughter, the Emhoff girl.
I think that's an excellent choice. I'm going to say this character of Mark Robinson. They've been just showing him a little bit here and there. He plays the lieutenant governor of North Carolina, and he's running for governor of North Carolina. He's a very, basically, they position him to be this lunatic who says all these crazy things.
Get mad at me if you want to. Some folks need killing.
He may actually, in a plot twist, lose North Carolina for the Trump character. He is very, very much against the movie Black Panther. And then this latest thing, which tells me that he's not going away anytime soon, in his local town, he would go to a live porn theater 5 times a week, and he would bring a pizza from Papa John's. I mean, I kind of like this guy. I like how they're reaching out to not only guys who like porn, but dudes who like to eat while they physically watch live porn.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Okay, let's go to this next question. It comes from Jeremy Richards of Denver, Colorado. Now, I'm going to take this one first. He says the Biden entity had a bad performance in a debate and was replaced. Do you think that something bad will happen to the Trump character with his bad performance? Now, obviously, there's no way they're going to replace the Trump character, but it leads to a different train of thought. Do you think something bad will happen to the Trump character because of that debate performance? Will someone attempt to punish him? Will he be punished? How would that dynamic play out?
No, I don't think they're going to do anything. I think this is like a madman at a blackjack table saying everything on black while his family weeps and begs and says, you've lost our house. And they're going to keep it going until everyone in the family is carted out of the casino, put in a Sprinter van because of the added height, and driven to an institution. The very institution he claims immigrants are coming from.
Yes. I'm going to play devil's advocate on that. I'm going to say that, of course, they will never remove him, but I do think that there will be some kind of punishment. I think we'll see, because of this debate performance, he is forced now to hang out with somebody that he just doesn't like. It could be an old character like Ted Cruz. It could be just somebody who irritates him and gets under his skin, and now he almost has this begrudged sidekick he has to go around with.
A Huckabee Sanders or something that he has to go to every movie with.
Yeah, somebody who the idea of having to spend any time in the same 100 square feet of this person would just drive him mad. All right, stick with us, people. When we come back, we're going to close the show out with a few predictions of what to look for next week. More Talking Trump, the American Emperor After Show, when we return. Welcome back, everyone. This is Talking Trump, the American Emperor Aftershow. Right now, before we close out the show, a couple of quick predictions for coming weeks. Tom, I'm going to go first on this one. In the past, in real life, you've seen certain candidates put their campaign on suspension. And what I think is going to happen is, as all the tension is building, as we're heading towards this election, I think the Trump character is going to suspend his campaign. Everyone is going to pause and be like, well, what's happening? What's going on? What's happening? And then we're going to see the Trump character go on a safari by himself to find himself. And he's going to go travel the world. And we're going to see a very expansive episode, maybe an episode and a half, of him just learning from different cultures. And you'll see him meeting with people in the Far East. You'll see him going down under to Australia. You'll see him meeting with the native people there. You'll see him in all sorts of different countries in Africa and Brazil. He'll even end up in Antarctica for a little while, and then he'll come back. And when he comes back, there'll be this big dramatic press conference where they ask him basically like, wow, what did you do for? Are you ready to resume your race? And there'll be a very dramatic moment. And I think he's just going to say, Haitians eats cats, and then we'll be back off on the running again.
I've heard this idea. I've heard it also culminates in him constructing a giant pyramid where he's to be buried and then brought back to life 1,000 years hence, where he restates the Haitians and cats thing. And it's been written in runes and hieroglyphics all over the inside of his coffin.
Wow. It is a sarcophagus. Did they put him in one of those things?
Yeah, it's a burial chamber, and it's filled with cats and Haitians in a major chow down of ancient times.
Incredible. So what about yourself? What do you see coming in the next couple of weeks?
I mean, I'm a student of the ancients and ancient history, so I see a giant volcano with lava covering the White House and covering most of Washington, D.C., and people retreating to New Hampshire, where the new capital begins. And we have a sort of New England flavor, sort of like the old Newhart show. And look for some sort of quaint Yankee laughs in addition to the political drama.
Interesting. And do you think that to signify that new beginning, that new capital, you'll see a scene where Trump wakes up out of bed and laying next to him is either Marla Maples or even Suzanne Plachette?
Or possibly Papa Doc Duvalier chowing down on an egg and cat breakfast.
That would be a perfect little blackout, the way to go into season 4. Very, very good. All right, everyone, that's it for this episode this week. Please come back next week for another episode of Talking Trump, the American Emperor After Show. Check us out on Apple Podcasts and, of course, Spotify, and check us out right here on YouTube.